So welcome to another episode of Conversations with Lashelle. I'm here today with another fellow SD sister, my first actual female on the show. And
wait, what?
Yeah, you're my first female on the show.
That's what's up.
And as you know, I'm starting these conversations with people in the industry as a way to kind of draw out any challenges that our industry may have or opportunities that they may have.
Yep.
But let me introduce you first. This is the beautiful Mercedes Valencia, known as the Unicorn Goddess. She's fantastic. I am not worthy.
Oh, stop it. I love you. I love you.
She's a healer amongst a lot of different things. I say she's a healer, and you'll find out why in a few minutes. But if you just tell us a little bit about who you are and how you became to be standing here today.
So, the best way I can describe it is that I am a girl that has very sensitive skin. At one point, I wanted to be a pharmacist, so I know like the compounding and all of that. The more I learned about that, I wanted to get away from it, and I realized I'm more of a natural person, and I started just making my own face oil. That's how it all started. And it transformed my skin. There's a lot of misconceptions about face oils, but it changed my skin, and then people around me started to notice it. And fast forward, people kept asking. So I said, hey, does anybody want to try it? I'll make a batch. And it sold out in less than 24 hours. And I took that, made one batch into two into four, kept doubling up. And then within a couple of months, I was stuck in a place where I'm like, do I continue to do this or continue to do my work? I was working for Harvard at the time, so it was like I thought I had made it. But I decided to work for myself, and it was the best decision of my life. And my life hasn't been the same. And then instead, let me go back to school and become an esthetician to focus on that, even though I was a cosmetologist in the past. And I fell in love with the facials, that connection. And now I'm being mentored by Shani Darden. I'm a meta partner, and life has this was clearly what was meant for me. So, yeah, I love it.
That.
I love it.
So you were working for Harvard University.
Yeah, it was boring. It was a lot of math, working with a lot of the lawyers, malpractice cases, but I had a beautiful office. I was banking. I was making that money.
Right.
That 401k was hitting lovely. Yeah, so.
And it's those things. It's the fact that you were in this really sort of steady, stable job.
Yeah.
Stable job.
Yeah.
And then you decided to go on your own.
Right.
And on your own is something like aesthetics. And as you know,
This can
be very, very scary.
Yeah.
You know, it's really about what you put out into this particular industry.
Absolutely.
Is what you're going to get back.
Absolutely.
But what I love is that things came to you because there was a need for you. And I believe that. I think that,
I love that.
you know, people always, I just recently heard from a dear mentor of mine, Douglas Preston.
Okay. Oh, I love the one that does the devices, the extracting. Oh, he's great.
That man is just...
What a great mentor to have.
He's fantastic. And he said, you know, Lashelle, that old saying of there's enough room and enough business to go around, and there's enough room for all of us. No, there's enough room for the best of us.
Ooh,
and I believe
I love
that is you. Because when I first saw you was at the trade show ICS in Philadelphia, and I walked past Zimmets, which everybody knows that I kind of use Zimmets in my space.
Same.
And I said, I felt like I knew you already.
Yeah, we stopped, we locked eyes, and it was just like, friend?
I know you?
Where do we know each other from?
You?
And it was just the vibes were there.
And it was just something about you. And then we got the chance to talk. I got a chance to hear a little bit of your story. And just even sitting with you now and just being with you today, I can see why. So I always feel like these things come to the right people. And I think that you have something to give this industry.
Thank you.
So I'm so glad that you're here. And I'm so glad that we're getting to talk. So let's get right into it.
Okay, let's do it.
So I always want to ask, because our industry is growing, it's evolving. It's changing, sometimes for the better, sometimes not so much. What are some of the challenges that you see in our particular industry? Take it away.
Representation for Black and Latino estheticians.
Now, when you say representation for Black and Latino estheticians, one would say, well, they're at the trade shows. We do see them working.
Yeah, they're working. I'm talking about representation. Like, I want to open up a magazine. I want to go to a website. I want to see my skin color. I want to see my skin tone. I want to see my brother's skin tones. I want to see people that look like me, people that look like my family, people that look like my kids.
So,
but yeah.
So, and here's the thing. I like for you to kind of open that up a little bit more. What does that look like for the industry to show true representation other than just having one or two of them?
Why does it have to be like either a skincare line that's great for melanin. It's either all or nothing. One whole skin line, and it's like, go over here. But then you have these great companies that can offer so much, and then it's like they talk about how they might have stuff that's good for all skin types, for all Fitzpatricks, all of this, but then I don't see any of that in the models that get casted for what's represented for it, or in the big billboards. Like,
it's racially ambiguous.
absolutely.
For the most part, which tries to tap into all industries, but it still feels very European centric driven.
Right.
And
but yet there's a lot from our culture that wants to get taken.
oh, for fun and for free. Oh, they want you for fun and for free. I talk about that all the time.
It's crazy.
We're here now at the ICS Miami, and when you walk around here, I can count on my hand
How many of us there are?
Black men.
There's like no, there's none.
There's none.
It's you.
There's none. It's just me here.
There's you.
We're in Miami.
There's like 2 or 3 that I know of here and there, but it's like there's you.
Yeah, there's me, and there's this trade show. There's a lot of Afro Latino because we're in Miami, but that's not always the case.
Never the case usually.
Can I ask? Do you think there needs to be representation in terms of the executive decisions?
Absolutely.
And speak a little bit about that if you.
Absolutely.
Because I know that you're in Meta and you're dealing with all of that.
Yeah.
What does that look like, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh, well, see, that's a whole different ballgame. With Meta, like that, when we talk about inclusivity, that is inclusivity. Like, you will see every shade, every region, every sexuality, every this and that, like represented everywhere.
Yeah.
So I can go into any one of these industry events that I'm very lucky to get invited into, and I don't feel out of place. I don't feel like I need to like. I don't ever not act like myself. That's one thing I don't sugarcoat anything.
Yeah.
You already got that.
I already know that. But very well, she does it very diplomatically.
I am very demure.
Yeah, very diplomatic, but very straightforward.
Very straightforward. But sometimes like you can be in a certain space and you've almost like, I don't want to say scared, but it's almost like you don't know if you can fully truly be yourself, because is it going to be like we're too much? Or this or that, where like in the Meta events, I never feel it. I feel like they welcome me, and I'm not saying that other people don't welcome,
right?
But I'm talking because we're saying representation.
Right.
What I see in their presentations, I see everything.
What I'm hearing you saying is,
I don't feel like I'm being invited just to fill a void, so that it doesn't look like
the blank
we don't like Black people or Hispanic people.
Your opinions are valued,
exactly.
And the value is not only that they're incorporating your ideas, but you're also being compensated.
Right.
And you're also being respected,
absolutely.
And given the space, but also the respect and the accolade that you need so that you can continue on in this circle, in this industry.
Right.
And I think that's something that I've noticed in the skincare game. I always say this is the one industry that the women are at the forefront.
Absolutely.
And more or less, there are, for some of these bigger companies that are well known, there's more white presenting women.
Absolutely.
There is a whole world of Black women estheticians, which I'm still getting to learn.
Well, I will say one thing is that I think is beautiful is that within our community, I feel like we do tend to stick together.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I'm very lucky to say I haven't experienced that like mean girl vibe or just like if there's like that one other person of color in the room that it's almost like there can only be one of us.
Right.
It's more like there's only 2 of us. We're going to get together and we're going to like represent this together. That's one thing that I feel like we're sticking together on that. So I think that that's like a great way that we can keep using that because we work better together. So that is really nice. But yeah, the representation is just
it's not. Do you feel that do you see it, do you think it's going to change in terms of what you, because I know you've been around too.
Yeah.
So, and there is conversations and there is sort of, even with the sort of performative space filling of minorities in this industry, it's still the moving of a needle at a superficial level for the most part, but the moving nonetheless. Right? Do you see that evolving and changing? And I'm only asking you that because I know you speak to brand owners and people who are actually running the show and who can make those types of decisions.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think doing things like this, I think there's a lot of Black and Hispanic owned businesses that are starting to come out more in the skincare world. So I think that will also help to start bridging that gap. But I think just doing things like this, where I think sometimes people are kind of dumb, and I say that in the sweetest way, that they're just not even thinking about it. They're not even realizing that what they're doing could be hurting other people.
Agree.
It's like oblivious type of thing.
And something I think it's a lack of exposure too. What I started to realize too is, oh wait, there's not just a racial bias. They're not racial bias because they don't like me or like my
It's not actually. They just don't even get it.
They don't have the exposure to me.
Yeah.
They don't have exposure to. And when I say me, not just I know someone Black or I know someone brown.
Right.
No, the exposure to what it is culturally.
Yeah.
Who we are, because we're not all a monolith.
Right.
And so that even with our skin and even with our skin care and how we do our grooming techniques and regimens. So I think people just being exposed to that.
Yeah.
And then bringing that understanding in helps move the needle. Hopefully within them, that will hopefully move the needle.
Yeah, because there's a lot of excellence out here.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a lot. And I think a lot of it needs to be seen and represented. But I think that we're doing all the things.
Yeah.
We just got to keep showing up.
Okay.
Keep doing our best.
And keep showing our faces.
And absolutely. And reaching out and putting yourself out there, because again, sometimes people are not aware. So a good tactic to help keep bridging that could be, if there's a brand that you want to work with and you don't feel like there's that type of representation, pitch yourself and say, hey, I've noticed that there's a gap in your representation in this area. I think I would be a great fit.
Put yourself out there.
Put yourself out there.
That's how I've done it. I mean,
I was so inspired by all the things you were telling me about. Like, the work that you put in is insane.
Yeah. I want to see more of us here. I want to see more men here. And first having these conversations so I can understand, and as a way to sort of advocate in the best way that I possibly can.
Yeah.
So I tell my story, and my story is one of just like constantly pushing myself and constantly saying, hey, make some room for me.
Yeah.
And people
take up space.
And being brought in so that I can open the door for the next person.
Yeah.
So really quickly, can you give us some just great things that you're doing and just some wisdom that you want to leave?
Yeah, so some things that I'm doing, I'm a Meta partner, so I'm working a lot with them with their AI, the Meta Ray-Ban glasses, all of that. I've just rebranded a lot of my skincare products. I make everything by hand. I have not put it into a manufacturing company because I strongly believe that like hand pouring it and that care is what makes a difference. It what makes my product special. So I've just rebranded, and I only have my 4 products that are like my best sellers. So that's my biggest thing right now that I would like to share, because I love making handmade products. But the advice that I would give, or the thing that I would want to share, is that like, don't put yourself where you're scared to share that one thing that's helped you with someone else, because you feel like this was such a good idea and then I don't want anybody else to take this from me. If you put yourself in that position, then you're only blocking your own blessings, because you're going to have this mentality of it's like a scarcity mentality,
and it keeps you stuck.
It's a blockage. But if you flow, if something comes to you and I get some great information and I flow, I love sharing information with people. Like, if I can leave people that they can walk away from a conversation with me feeling like I've added value to them, I've helped them in any way, not only does that fill my cup, but that type of energy is opening me up more to receive more information that I can pass along.
I appreciate you saying that. I actually personally have went through that feeling because I always gave, and I've had past experiences where that was taken away. And I think
you're like, oh no, if I wouldn't have said that, maybe that could have been me in that position. But then that really just wasn't meant for you.
It wasn't meant for me.
There's something better.
But it's also too that I also had to advocate for my own self, and at that time I was giving it away out of validation versus, standing up for my own self and, going through my own things in a strong way.
Right.
So I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
So advocation is...
I mean, also, don't tell people what you're doing until you do it either, because you would. Some people be haters.
That's the truth.
But share your knowledge. Share the things that have worked with you.
Giving a way to keep it.
Share that stuff, because it's only going to open you up to more stuff.
I appreciate that today, because I needed that today. That was a reminder for me.
I love that.
I know I love that.
I love that.
And I love you.
I love you too.
Really
Thank you so much.
We're here with Zimmets. Really quickly, why do you love Zimmets?
Oh, I love Zimmets because their devices, I don't feel like I have to sell anything. I don't feel like I have to convince myself or my clients. Like, they legit work. I use their equipment in every single treatment, regardless of what is happening. There's some modality, something that I'm using from them. It's very well made. It's beautiful. The fact that they have 3-year warranty makes me feel really confident in knowing what they're putting out there.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they have the provider in mind as opposed to the consumer.
Yep.
So knowing that my consumables are at a very low price makes me...
That's okay.
Bloopers.
Okay.
It puts me in a position where I'm making money. I'm giving out flawless results. And yeah, like I said, they have the esthetician in mind, and that's probably the forefront. The devices work great. I mean,
No, I love their devices.
There's not one device that I have probably like 6 devices. In my
don't really
room.
talk about too many devices here, but I did want to bring that in because I know that that's how we met.
Yeah.
And that we're here today at the trade show.
Yeah.
In Miami, and we're here with actually Zimmits. We're sitting in
Yes.
their space. And I absolutely love their machines. And one of the reasons why I love their machines, if you can believe it or not, based off of what I talk about, is integrative.
Mm-hmm.
It's an integrative modalities. It breeds a lot of results. And at the end of the day, that's what clients want. That closes the sale. That keeps them coming back.
Yep.
And so I'm really happy with how it's helped my business.
Yep.
And I just was wondering, how you were feeling about it too.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I use it in every single treatment. The fact that I don't have to be tied down to their consumables, and it lets me play. It lets me explore. It lets me have fun.
Can you use your products that you're using with Zimmits?
You could, but the thing is that the products that I make are so much more about intention.
Okay.
And definitely anti-aging. So like my body butter, it's great for like eczema. It's great for people with rosacea, people with really sensitive skin. I have a lot of moms that love to use it because it's safe around their kids, or they use it for their kids for their eczema. Mm-hmm. The face oil. The face oil is great for anti-aging, so that would be a take-home. So a take-home product that you would use for your gua sha, for your facial massage, for your facial sculpting. Body scrub, again, that's for exfoliating. It's more about smelling really good, having really soft skin from head to toe, and then like I said, intention. So when you're using the face oil and you're doing the facial scrubs, and when you're doing, that's okay. When you're using the face oil and you're doing the facial sculpting, it's that time of self-love at the end of the day. Being intentional with your face, having those couple of minutes. The hair mist is about smelling good. We're in the treatment room. I'm using professional grade
to kind of go do that deep drive.
To go that deep stuff, which I use with my Zimmits devices.
And your machines actually do it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward. Well, I want our viewers to know where to find you so they can see your products, they can see your actual work, because she does beautiful work.
Thank you.
She's a walk-in visibility of her own products.
Thank you so much.
And her own purpose, your own philosophy. You're just an angel.
Thank you.
So
I love you.
I'm
so happy.
How can we find you and where can we find you?
On socials, you can find me at The Unicorn Goddess. You can find me at theunicorngoddess.com. And I love DMs. Send me DMs. I'm here. I love to just share all of my information. So
thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. I love this. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And we'll see you on the next episode of Conversations with Lashelle, where we'll have Ola from Zimmits.
Bye.
Thank you.
That was good.
Thank you.